When I started talking to my ex-wife about this deep stuff, and I have to mention that she looked at me without any provocation after me just talking a little bit. She said, "Because you're enlightened." And she looked me in the eyes and said that. So I know that she understands that. Will she help me help people, even though she's my ex-wife? I hope so. God does want her to do that. And I don't want to sound silly saying that, but God, as in the higher self, the being that knows that we can make ourselves better, does want her to do that. So anyway, as I go to start talking and I bring up what God is, and as soon as you do that with just about anybody, they bring up, they say, yeah, because, in the Bible it says this, in the Bible it says that. And I have to say, listen, those are good reference points. But when you're talking to somebody who knows what they're talking about, and I'm not trying to be rude, I know what I'm talking about. And they have to understand that. She even says, because you're enlightened. And she could tell by what I was saying that it wasn't anything made up. They've heard so many stories in those books. Think about just like a fairy tale creature. And there it's like an animated flying animal or a talking animal or something like that. And like, if you start learning your religion, no matter what age really, but if you start at a young age and you still have that imagination and you think of angels and then you think of demons and you think of devils, like your mind starts developing those imaginary things. I mean, they are imaginary at that point. There are such things. You're never going to encounter them most likely, but they're imaginary at that point. As you go through your life and say you've never really kept up with it. You've just heard more people preach and say some of the same stories over and over again, maybe analyze the story, but your whole life you've really just gone through the same little thing over and over, reviewing what you're supposed to know, when how the hell could anyone think in a book that holds it all? Anyway, when someone really understands and goes to tell it to you, they will automatically start bringing up quotes of the Bible because they want to assure for themselves that they didn't completely not know anything. Because they, of course, just by living, they've experienced their own things. They can put words to it if they want to, but they've experienced their own things. And that will show them that they themselves have a spirit within them, and they themselves are the Father, which just means their higher mind, the man upstairs, your brain, the way you're thinking, the manager upstairs, the higher mind. It's not too hard to really understand that. In a way, those are parables. In opposite ways, the imaginary realm and the physical realm are one and the same at one point in density. But we're not there, and we're never going to be there in a human life. So that kind of stuff doesn't make sense to talk about, so I won't explain it. Like, yes, Jesus Christ was a real individual, like Jesus of Nazareth, Yezu. All those different names and symbols have lived, because all those different names and symbols are living right now. And I can show it to you. And if that doesn't fascinate you because you're so stuck to the book stories that you've never experienced unless you've imagined them and had some similar feeling within your body, which is just because you are all those characters in those books and you are everybody around you, only you have a hard time accepting it because you didn't know it. And if you're at a certain age, you don't want to think that you're being too childish. And if you never heard of it before, it just seems too unreal. But once you really understand that it's too hard for people. Like if I was like, I know Jen, it's going to be hard for her to get over what she's heard from the past. Her mom, her mom's whole family, her dad, like her mom's whole family is Jehovah's Witnesses. And then it's like Brittany, her grandparents are Jehovah's Witnesses. Her mom and dad don't believe in anything. And she herself says that she doesn't believe in God at all. Or like, I can't say her mom and dad don't believe in anything. They just don't say anything. So it's like a extreme, nothing, like a middle ground. And then Brittany doesn't believe in God. Like, then who are you and how are you here? But anyway, I do know, and I insist that no one's going to be able to tell me something that I can't just say right back to them what that means. And they're not going to want to accept it because they themselves, as an adult or whatever age they are, they want to believe that they know what they know. And I'd rather hold on to my story that I was told instead of see this right in front of me and believe it. And to me, that is just... It's so crazy that a human being will hold on to what they want to believe instead of what is when it's right in front of them. And the only way to truly make your life better is to accept what is and actually start learning how to do awesome things within the means of harmony. And we can do that simply. And actually, I'm here to show people this. And once they start getting harmonious, they can start adding to the ideas, And even on the way they can, because they're actions will cause reactions, and those reactions sometimes will help you dig down deeper and come up with better solutions that you never had before. But we got to get people who are really working on doing that with their time instead of being distracted by their 40-hour-a-week job or their lusting habits. It's just we've got to get a hold of ourselves. And if we don't, we're just destroying ourselves, looking for someone else to blame it on. Now, I won't take the blame for you, but I am totally responsible for everything I do. And for a long time, I've said it to everyone I meet that I am here to do a certain thing. And because most people don't have that kind of discipline or that ability to be that confident about it, people take it the wrong way. And that's fine. I love them. They can do what they want. But literally, when people are ready to understand what's really going on, I'm here for that. And I love them. Until they, even if they go through this whole lifetime hating me, not wanting to understand any of this, and just letting themselves be pushed around. That's their choice. So, that's all I'm going to say.